If you haven't already heard, I'm doing a book buying ban in 2023, and whilst I'm really excited to save a little bit of money and to read through some of the things on my shelves, I also am going to desperately miss the dopamine rush of getting new books. And so one of my friends and I have found a little bit of a way around that. So Katie, if you're watching, stop right now, but everyone else get ready because today we are going to be picking out 12 books for a monthly book swap for 2023. I saw this idea on social media and I was immediately obsessed with it. I thought about like doing it for myself at first, and then I was like, that's ridiculous because I'm gonna know what's in each of the 12 presents. So I presented the idea to my friend Katie and we decided that we were going to loan each other books so that we can get that new book feeling, but without actually having to buy 12 new books. So the way it works is we'll each pick out 12 books to give to the other person, and we'll wrap them up and put just a little bit about like the plot, the genre, any other characteristics about it on the outside. So sort of like blind date with a book style. And then we'll unwrap one of those each month and read through the book that the other person has got for us. And I'm super excited. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to pick out the 12 books that I am gonna be loaning to Katie. So again, Katie, seriously, stop watching this video. But for the rest of you, let's pick out some books. So January is going to be a little bit of a cheat because I already told Katie I would loan her this book, and that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which was my absolute favorite read of 2022. So this is definitely going to be January. Katie is one of the few people that I trust to actually give me my books back. For the other 11 books, it's going to be interesting to try to figure out what to give her because we've both only been using our respective book tracking apps for the last couple of years. So I use Goodreads, she uses Storygraph, and I've only been using Goodreads religiously since like 2020, and she's only been using Storygraph for a couple of years as well. So I think I'm going to try to go for newer releases so that I can make sure she hasn't read them. And if I'm going to go any older than like 2019, 2020, I want to make sure that it's something that is a little bit more obscure or I feel pretty confident she hasn't read. I'll be okay with like a couple of books that she opens and it turns out she's already read them, but I really want to avoid that happening a lot. And given that she and I have similar reading tastes, I am a little bit worried about being able to find things that she hasn't already read. The other thing I have to think about is I have a lot of books on my bookshelf that I haven't actually read, so in some cases I might want to give her one of those books to read. Like me, she's got a wide variety of tastes in reading, so she enjoys romance, she enjoys literary fiction, she enjoys contemporary commercial fiction, a little bit of speculative fiction, science fiction, all of that. I think she leans slightly more literary than I do, but that's not a problem. A lot of the stuff on my shelves falls into that. So let's see what else we've got. Okay, so I've pulled like 3. The first one is Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. The second one is The Push by Ashley Audrain. And the third is Bunny by Mona Awad. Now, I haven't actually read any of the 3 of these, but I think they're all recent enough or obscure enough in Garden Spell's case that she might not have read them. So I'm gonna check for the 2 more recent ones on Storygraph. So we are in the clear on Bunny, so I'll put that aside as an option, though I do need to think about the fact that I would like to read this book for a Dark Academia Part 2 challenge that I want to do. But again, I trust Katie to give me my books back, so maybe I can just put it early in the year. She doesn't seem to have read Garden Spells, at least in the last couple of years that she's been using Storygraph, so also put that aside as an option. And we seem okay on The Push as well, so we're off to a really good start. So the next books I've grabbed are Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia, and this one seems to be in the clear, and The Binding by Bridget Collins, which I read for a fantasy book reading challenge and loved. Now, she's not got The Binding on her list on Storygraph, but it did come out in 2019, so it's a little bit of a risky one, but I'm gonna put it there as an option. Okay, went through the rest of my fiction. I've got a giant stack. The first one is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and it doesn't look like she's read this one, at least recently. I have read this one. I enjoyed it. I'm curious to know what she thinks of the ending, so I'm putting this on the stack. Then we have A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee, which again I haven't read, again would like to read for my next Dark Academia Challenge video, but why can't she read it first? Then we have This Vicious Grace, which is a quite recent release, and it doesn't look like she's read it. This is a fantasy one that I would really love to read. Again, haven't read it. I'm giving away all of my good TBRs to her, but I've heard it's really, really good, so I think she'd enjoy it. Then we have The Testimony by James Smythe, which I have read and I enjoyed. James Smythe was actually my dissertation advisor when I was doing my MA. I'm gonna be doing a James Smythe specific video coming up actually, so keep an eye out for that. And then we have Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor, which is the first of currently 13 Chronicles of St. Mary's books. So if Katie enjoys this, she's going to be really annoyed with me because it's going to mean she has to read the rest of them. And she might have already read it. I can't see it on her story graph, but this one is quite a few years old at this point. 2013, in fact. So there's a very good chance that she has read it, but oh well. Now that is 11 books, which means that I have at least one more to go, and I am thinking of putting in like an extra one of like a in case of emergency book, like in case she's already read one of the books that I put in there, or in case she's at a loose end and needs another book, because I know she's trying to buy fewer books this year as well. So now I'm gonna move over to my other shelf, and over there I have poetry, I have short stories, and I have nonfiction. So let's see what we can find. So I've picked up a short story collection called The Ghost Variations, which I've read some of this. I haven't read all of it, but I've enjoyed what I have read. It's 100 ghost stories, most of which are only a couple of pages long, but there are some that are a little bit longer. I think it'll be a really good in case of emergency book because it's a little bit different. And then I did pick up The Salt Path, and I'm a little bit nervous about this one because I think she might have been the one that recommended it to me, but it was a long time ago and I can't remember. It came out like 4 years ago, so it would have been like when she and I first met. That might be a bit risky. Let me see if I have anything else. You know what? Screw it. I'm doing it. I'm gonna include The Salt Path. I don't know if she was the one that recommended it to me, but we're gonna chance it. We've got our In Case of Emergency short story collection. So that brings us to 13 books. There we go. So now we just need to decide what order they're going to go in. Okay, so we know that this is our In Case of Emergency book. We know that Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow needs to be in January so that she can give it back to me as soon as possible, and also because she's expecting it. I need Bunny for a reading challenge, and I need A Lesson in Vengeance for the same reading challenge. Other books that I haven't read that I would like to read are This Vicious Grace and The Push. I'm gonna put this one toward the end of the year, just because if she does get hooked on it, then she's got next year to just keep reading it. Or actually, maybe that's a good reason for me to put it sooner because I can loan her the rest of them. I'm gonna do that. These two I have read and probably won't reread anytime soon. Putting this one towards the end in case she was the one who recommended it. And then these three can just go wherever. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, August. There you have it. Okay, so now we need to wrap them and label them. We did it! All done! Here they all are! So like I said, I did do all 13 of them. I thought I'd just give you a glimpse of the first one. So the first one is, as we mentioned, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. She knows this one is coming, and I thought I'd give it to her first as a result. So just to sort of show you the kinds of things I've written on the front, it says here, literary fiction, multi-POV, female author, about what it means to create and to do so in collaboration with others, new in 2022. So for all of them, I've just sort of put a few things about genre and setting and when it was published, that kind of thing. July was Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor, which is the first in the Chronicles of St. Mary's series. So I put first in an ongoing beloved series, time travel hijinks, very British, very funny, 2013. For October, we have The Push, so I put psychological suspense, multi-generational story, sinister, chilling, and heart-wrenchingly poignant, about motherhood and the sense of self, 2021. Now, a lot of these, because I haven't read them, I had to like look stuff up in order to be able to write them, that one included. So I'm hoping that none of it is misleading because I'm not doing that on purpose. It's just ignorance. And yeah, that's it. I'm super excited to give this to her. This is gonna really help me out in 2023 because I'm doing a little bit of a different sort of setup for my reading goals. I've got another video about that, which I will link in the description. If you haven't seen that, definitely go watch it because I'll talk about why swapping books with friends and family is going to be so important to me in the coming year because I'm not going to have access to books in the same way that I have in the past. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already, and I'll have to do another video when I get mine from Katie and I'm able to open January. So be sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss that. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you had to loan one book to one of your friends or family, which one would it be and how would you describe it? Because that was really difficult to do. Thank you so much, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.